Hi all, it's me, Allison. Do you ever just ache for two fictional characters to finally get together, but they just won't due to circumstances and people around them and their own repression? Yearning, the lost art. I'll admit I love to torture myself when it comes to reading romance books. The slower the burn, the bigger the reward. The thicker the tension, the more of the satisfaction. The more forbidden the romance, the more that I'm invested. And I know I cannot be the only one. In fact, it's scientifically proven that books with immense and suffocating yearning can enhance your reading experience by 90%. That being said, I consider myself an expert when it comes to yearning, and especially within the written word. So today I wanted to give you some of my favorite recommendations of books that have not forgotten the art of yearning. If you haven't already, let me go ahead and introduce you to the mother of slow burns, tension, and mind-numbing yearning that will have you gnawing at your Kindle, Cassandra Clare. Now, if you were 18 around 2013, 2014, that era, Cassandra Clare may be an author that you are pretty familiar with. The Shadowhunters universe is so immense and so large. Like there are movies or TV shows or a million and gazillion books written about the Shadowhunters world, but I'm not going to talk about the series that you may think. I actually have never read the Immortal Instruments books before. I tried to the first one, could not get through the series. I know that a lot of the Shadowhunters media, movies, TV shows, whatever was kind of based on those characters, but I did move forward with reading the series that are about the ancestors of those specific characters. And let me tell you, the Infernal Devices series is the epitome of yearning. So we have 3 books following our main character, Tessa Gray, as she is coming over to London in the 1800s from America to search for her brother. She ends up getting kidnapped by these strange people and who seem to have these magical abilities. She can't really figure out who they are, but they claimed that they knew her brother. These 2 gorgeous men who she later finds out are shadow hunters who slay demons and protect humans from the underworld. They come in and save her, and they couldn't be more opposite from each other. We've got Will Herondale, tall, dark, broody, and handsome, sarcastic, and really treats everyone like trash, but there's obviously a reason. And then we have Jim Carstairs, who is just the sweetest golden retriever puppy, who is also the parabatai with Will Herondale. If you don't know what a parabatai is, it is a platonic bond between 2 shadow hunters in which they are like their lives are tied to each other. And so that's what Will and Jim are. There is no bond in this universe that is stronger than a parabatai bond, which is obviously great when these 2 fall for the same girl. So once Tessa gets rescued by these 2 men, she gets thrown into the world of shadow hunters and witchcraft and vampires and werewolves and things that she never thought would actually be real. And she's in search for her brother. She obviously falls in love. I'm not going to say with who. She's falling in love. There's a love triangle of some sort. Believe it or not, she doesn't even end up with the guy that she's supposed to until the 3rd book. You can imagine the angst to get to this book right here. It is delicious. And you may be thinking that might be a little too long for you to see any type of romance. Let me assure you that there is romance in all of these books, but we do not have the happy endings until the 3rd book. And that's all I'm gonna say. But I did want to read you a quote to kind of maybe convince you to read this series. So this is a quote from the 3rd book, Clockwork Princess. "You are the dream and only dream I was ever unable to stop myself from dreaming. You are the first dream of my soul, and from that dream I hope will come all the other dreams. A lifetime's worth. With hope at last, blank." I'm not going to say who said it because that would spoil the entire series. So I just wanted to kind of give you that to kind of keep in mind if you were on the fence on whether you should read the Infernal Devices or not. I will actually insert some photos of me after I finish the Infernal Devices. I don't think I was coherent. I was unable to breathe, and I did cry for 3 days straight. Kind of sticking with the Cassandra Clare of it all, additionally, the series that was after the Infernal Devices was called The Last Hours. It was a series about the children of the characters that we met in the Infernal Devices, which is obviously sweet to watch and see because you fell in love with the characters and the couples that were introduced to us in the Infernal Devices, and now you see them as parents, and let me tell you, their children are 10 times worse. Let's just say that James Herondale learned yearning from the best of them, his father. This series is so good. It's actually, I think I enjoyed it more than I did the Infernal Devices series, which I didn't think would be the case when I finished. But I have to say the storyline plot was more interesting in the Last Hour series. But not only did we have one storyline of complete and utter yearning, we had about 5. So there was a lot of that, a lot of different changing of POVs of all these different characters. All of them are in some kind of love triangle, love yearning, love interest, anything. They all have someone that they want completely and totally. So that was really fun to read about. The first in the series, which is Chain of Gold, we see Cordelia Carstairs, which is a descendant of Jim, who we met in the first book. Her and her family are moving back to London after her father is being put on trial and her family is in danger of being ruined. So she goes back into the London society to try and convince these people that her father did not commit this crime that they said that he committed, yada yada yada. She was obviously in love with one of her childhood best friends, James Herondale, who wouldn't be, considering who his father is. And so we see a lot of back and forth. Unfortunately for Cordelia, she finds out that James has promised himself to another, which is devastating for her. She decides that she'll just be his friend instead, but she cannot help herself from falling more and more in love with him the more time she hangs out with him. And this book is actually really interesting because they find out that the demons that usually are only lurking and attacking at night are starting to attack during the day, which is absolutely unheard of. I don't want to spoil the series for you guys. Obviously, I want you guys to experience everything that I did while reading, but here is a quote that I wanted to give you to maybe try and convince you that this series is worth it. If it were not for you, my Daisy, I would have belonged to Belial a long time ago. For there is no one in this world, my most beautiful, most maddening, adoring wife, that I could ever have loved half as much as I have loved you. My heart beats for you, and only you. That is just not the most beautiful thing you've ever heard, and when I tell you it took so long for them to get to that point, it was insane. All this to say, you have to read the Infernal Devices and completely move forward with The Last Hours right after it. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so this next one, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The Divine Rivals series is beyond all of my expectations when it comes to yearning. So the heart of the story revolves around 2 rival journalists, Iris and Roman, who are unwittingly writing letters to each other through a magic typewriter. They both have this magic typewriter and they are receiving letters from each other, but they don't know that it's from each other. So through these letters, they're able to form a deep connection with each other, share raw emotions, and build a connection through words alone. The catch is that Roman actually finds out that it is Iris who he is writing. He has been in love with Iris since the moment she stepped into the workplace. He was unable to say that due to her financial status, his family, the pressures of his family, but he decides to throw that all away when he realizes that it's Iris who's writing these letters. He throws it all away to follow her to the war front. She actually quits her job at the newspaper, joins the other newspaper to be a war correspondent in hopes of finding her brother, who also enlisted into the war. Roman obviously follows her because he cannot stay away, and from there they just have this beautiful, beautiful romance. I wanted to give a quick quote from that book. I think this is actually my favorite one in this video. It is completely gorgeous. Every time I read it, it takes my breath away. I pray that my days will be long at your side. Let me fill and satisfy every longing in your soul. May your hand be in mine by sun and by night. Let our breaths twine and our blood become one until our bones return to dust. Even then, may I find your soul still sworn to mine. And did I mention that this man physically crawled to get to her by the end of this book? I mean it. He was crawling. I don't want to spoil, but let's just leave it at that. All right, so for this next one, I am not ashamed to say that Bride by Ali Hazelwood is one of the best books of all time, and I will say it with my whole chest. If you love romance with soul-crushing tension, mutual pining, and self-restraint, then you've come to the right place. Bride delivers yearning in abundance, okay? So the premise of Bride is that Misery, vampire, Lo, werewolf, are forced into a fake marriage to kind of bond those two creatures and their hierarchy, their political standings, whatever, into kind of an agreement, a treaty, if you will. And so these two, throughout the entire book, are really forced to keep up appearances as a married couple. So we're talking dinner parties, we're talking public outings, we're talking, you know, longing looks in public, whatever. And both of them are pretty aware of they could actually have this in real life if they weren't so emotionally repressed. Poor Lo, God bless. Lo in particular is the definition of restrained longing. He is so possessive over Misery, but he refuses to let himself act on it. Watching him struggle with his own feelings from the perspective of Misery is absolute agony, and it is so obvious to the reader what she is to him. She's unable to understand it due to her not being in a relationship ever. He thinks he's being so obvious about everything and she's just not getting it. Here's a slight spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this, like, go ahead and like skip a couple minutes, but he knew from the moment he saw her that Misery was his mate, and he did not want to force that bond on her due to like her being a vampire. She doesn't experience mates like werewolves do, so he tries everything to restrain himself and let everything be her choice. But let me tell you, when that control slipped, whew, it is so good. Genuinely one of the best books of all time. But I'm going to read you a quote and hopefully this will convince you. So I'm going to kind of give you context because it's not going to make sense otherwise. So basically Misery asks Lo to kind of explain the concept of mates, and she is under the assumption that he had a mate, that he had descended into vampire territory in order for her to be able to come over and marry him, yada yada yada. And she's just like, why don't you tell her that you're her mate? Like, why won't you just tell her? Is she not enough for you? And he says, you don't know anything about what it's like to find your other half. I would take anything she chose to give me, the tiniest fraction or her entire world. I would take her for a single night knowing I would lose her by the morning. I would hold her and never let go. I would take her healthy or sick or tired or angry or strong, and it would be my privilege. I would take her problems, her gifts, her moods, her passions, her jokes, her body, and I would take every last thing if she chose to give it to me. And by the way, she's thinking he's talking about the girl that's over in the vampire territory, and really he's talking about her. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Moving forward, I know that this book has probably been featured in every single video I have ever made, and I will say it again, Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey is the epitome of a yearning man. Professional golf player Wells Whitaker takes on his biggest fangirl to be his caddy while simultaneously taking care of her financially, enabling her to have health insurance for her diabetes. Like, you cannot make this up. And here's the thing, in the beginning, he was like begrudgingly doing this for her. Like, he felt some kind of connection to her and he couldn't understand why. He really was like restraining himself, but the moment he decided that he was in love with her, all bets were off. We're talking, she gets the presidential suite because there's a bathtub, which she enjoys. We're talking matching outfits on the golf course. We're talking, he plays nice for the media for the first time in his entire career because she said so. It is so delicious, so good. He is down bad for this girl, and she literally is just herself. Also, did I mention he is super grumpy? Yeah. I have so much to say about this book, but I'm going to go ahead and spare you my complete and utter rant. But I did want to read a quote from said book to maybe convince you that this is the book that you have to pick up absolutely right now. So here's what I have for you. I don't miss people to the point of torment, Josephine. I don't spend the night with women waking up every couple of hours to convince myself they're not a dream. I do both of those things when I'm with you like it's my job. And a lot of other annoying things I'm not willing to admit yet, but they involve planning trips to Bath and Body Works and wondering if Wilsophine is a viable ship name. I was very happy being alone until you showed up. You've ruined me. You're kidding me! God, he loves her so much. It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring us back to another Allie Hazelwood. This is actually contemporary romance. Love theoretically. So this book is about a girl, Elsie, who is a woman in STEM. She's struggling to make ends meet. Once again, she doesn't have health insurance. So in order to make ends meet, she is on a website in which people can hire her to like be a pretend date. And one of her reoccurring clients, he like has brought her to multiple family events. And unfortunately for her, she does find out through a really awkward job interview that her client's brother is actually in charge of the lab at MIT and holds his fate in her hands. He obviously thinks that she has lied to the brother because she claims that she was in a different job than what she was like applying for, yada yada yada. He gets really mad because he's thinking, one, she's cheating on the brother, and also like she's been lying to her, yada yada yada. After all of that kind of gets cleared up, the brother tells, Jack that, it was all fake. You actually find out that Jack has been paying attention to Elsie the entire time she's been coming to the family events. He actually was like hating himself for how much he wanted her because he was his brother's girlfriend. I mean, like, he was torturing himself because he was wanting her so horribly bad. And then once he finds out it was all fake, it was full force. He was doing everything he could to get her. And I'm going to read you a quote and make sure you understand what I'm saying. I dream of crazy things. I want you to marry me tomorrow so that you can go on my health insurance. I want to lock you in my room for a couple of weeks. I want to buy groceries based on what you like. I want to play it cool, like I'm attracted to you and not an obsessed out of my mind kind of way, but that's just not where I'm at. Not at all. I need you to keep us in check. I need you to pace us because where it's going, I'm here. I'm already right here. You're kidding! It's so good! Okay, so for this last one, this is actually the fourth book in a series, but I think out of all of them, this was the one that had the most yearning, and that's gonna go ahead and be Play Along by Liz Tomfortier. Once again, another author / series that I continuously bring up, but I cannot help myself. They are just the epitome of perfect writing. But oh baby, let me tell you about Isaiah Rhodes. So Isaiah is a professional baseball player, kind of a playboy situation, who is falling madly in love with the team physical therapist, Kennedy Case, okay? He is pining for her so horribly, but then he sees that she has a wedding ring, and so he kind of takes a step back. Those are all in the previous books. Getting to his book, he finds out that Kennedy has broken off her engagement, and from there it was full force. He went full stop with the playboy situation. He was doing family time every single weekend. He was making himself better for the woman that he wanted, and baby did he get it. They ended up actually being in Las Vegas together. She was like on a bachelorette trip. I think he was there for like something else. I honestly don't remember, but they end up running into each other in Vegas. She's like completely awkward and having a horrible time at the bachelorette trip. They end up getting super drunk and getting married in Vegas. And instead of, doing an annulment or divorcing, they keep up the appearances for now. And he took full advantage of that situation. He said, I'm going to make sure she falls in love with me by the end of this because I cannot live without her. And let me tell you what, this man was playing the long game. He was dropping everything to be with this woman. He went to awkward family dinners. He was bringing her lunch. He was making sure she was eating because she would tend to not do that while she was at work. He did it all for her, and she obviously fell in love with him. So here is a quote that I think is like the epitome of their relationship, so I wanted to share this with you. When I'm what, Kennedy? When I'm constantly thinking of you, when I'm trying my best to get you to notice me, when I'm too busy not touching other women because I haven't laid a finger on anyone other than you, not once, and not just since we've been married. I haven't looked at another woman since the day I found out you ended your engagement. I would have waited for you since the day I met you had I known you weren't in love with your fiance. For years, I thought you were happy with someone else, but I only found out 10 months ago, Ken. For the last 10 months, I thought I might have a real shot, so I've tried my best. I've waited for you to see me, and I'd wait the rest of my life if I thought I ever had a real chance with you. Are you kidding? There is just something about a man who has been in love with her the entire time that he's met her. Like, it is just beyond. And the fact that she just, like, would not give him the time of day until this scenario in which they accidentally got married. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I love Play Along, and I love Isaiah King. So there you have it. Those are some of my favorite books that are the masters of yearning. Trust me, the longer you wait, the better the payoff. If you haven't read these yet, like, what are you doing? Get ready for a whole lot of heartache. In the best way possible, of course. Now, I want to know, what books make you ache with longing? I am in desperate need of more books with the immense yearning in which these books have provided for me. So comment down below any books that you think might be my next read when it comes to yearning. Don't forget, please subscribe if you don't mind. I will have my links and social medias down below, my Goodreads, my Instagram, my TikTok, my podcast. So be sure to follow all of those down below. And until next time,